All right, so in this hip screen video, we are going to cover 4 different areas of hip mobility, and you're going to be testing yourself in all of these areas and taking notes in your logbook on how you do. So we're going to be doing hip flexion, hip extension, hip internal rotation, and hip external rotation. So to start with flexion, there's a couple things we can do. We can do a passive test, which essentially is where you are lying on the ground and you just grab your knee and pull it to your chest. You want to make sure you're not rounding your back too much or lifting your butt off the ground. Just kind of keep a neutral spine. So you're going to want to pull it as far as you can and then just notice any pinching sensation you feel. So try this on both sides. And you can also grab with the opposite hand and pull your leg out to the side and rock it back and forth just to see if you feel any pinching sensation. The other test we're going to do is going to be an active hold. So that's going to be where you're standing and you can kind of look in a mirror from the side or have someone take a picture of you, and you're going to lift your knee to your chest and just see how much above 90 degrees you can get your knee. So if this is 90 degrees without tucking around your back or cheating. You can also try to actually actively pull the leg up like you did on the ground, and once you get to your max range, just see if you can hold it there. So things you're going to want to note in your logbook is if you feel any pinching sensation in either of these, and also how high, approximately how many degrees above 90 degrees you can lift your leg in that active hold. So if you don't know how many degrees, you can have somebody take a photo of you from the side, and then you can compare that later and see if the experiments you're doing help. So for extension, we're going to be doing a test where you lie on your stomach and we're essentially going to lift the back leg and see how high you can get. So the issue with this is people typically will do this exercise and they'll say, oh, I can lift my legs so high, I have good hip extension. But the thing is, they're actually cheating with their lower back. So we're going to try a method that takes out the cheating factor with the back. So what you're going to do is you're going to tuck one leg under you and put the other leg back, and then come down on your forearms and see if you can lift that back leg off the ground still. You want to make sure, see if you can lift your whole leg off the ground and not just the knee. So this is really hard for most people, and a way to kind of modify this is to take something like a foam roller, some sort of object, and put it under the ankle of that front bending leg. So that kind of puts you at a different angle. So then when you go down on your on your elbows, you can lift your leg a bit higher. So if I was to show you that from the front, so I got this under my ankle, and then as you can see, I can lift my leg a bit more. So something to write down in your log for this is, were you able to lift your leg off the ground the first time, or did you need to use assistance? And if you needed to use assistance, how high approximately did you need to lift that ankle to be able to lift your back leg off the ground? So for internal rotation, there's a few ways that you can test this. One of them is to do what's called W sit, and just see if you have your legs up to the side, if you can drop your knees in and sit kind of like this, which is kind of painful for a lot of people, but this is kind of like a extreme degree of internal rotation. You can try just doing it halfway, where this leg is bent outwards and this one is bent inwards. Or you can also have someone take a photo of you from the side and just see, so if you are on all fours, just how much can you tip this leg out to the side. So if I was to show that from the front view, so I'm on all fours, and without shifting my weight or twisting my whole body, I'm just gonna tip this leg out to the side. So I think you want to aim for about 45 degrees. So this being 0 degrees straight back and being completely out would be 90. So if I could show that a little better. So this would be about 45 degrees, and then if you can get all the way out to 90, you have pretty extreme internal rotation. So, and then for external rotation, the one that I typically use is you're sitting with your leg out in front of you, kind of parallel to the mat if you were facing on a mat, and then you put your other ankle on top of that knee, and then you see what this distance is and whether or not you can either gently push or lower this knee to this ankle. So you start in this position, ankle on top of knee, then knee touches ankle. So what you want to do is either measure this distance and write it down, or take a photo of how much distance there is and write it down, because typically this is a pretty restricted area for a lot of people. And if you're writing down the test results of the external rotation and all of the other hip screen tests, then you're going to be able to see that if you're doing the experiments, they're actually helping or they're not, in which case that you want to try different experiments. So hope that helps. Try these out, see how it goes, and good luck.